This is your daily market review for Monday, February 3rd, 2025. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agents, your daily market review for Monday, February 3rd, 2024. It's already February, holy crap. All right, what do we know this week, right? We've got some jobs data. We've got a little bit of, just volatility potentially coming from new money, new month. Not surprised we bounced off the open. I personally think, every time you see a rumor on a Friday or some bad news overnight, you'll probably get a bounce because if you know Senior Trumper, he's going to do his best to try to smooth out the market. So there's kind of a reoccurring pattern that you will see likely with this administration. Whatever is perceived as bad news, we get the pop. And then, again, they'll speak to it and then maybe buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing when they speak. Either way, again, whether you want to talk about tariffs or not, it's one of those things. We talk about the economy needing to take its medicine. We've been living off of government spending. The rest of the world's been living off our teat for a while, so I'm not surprised by what they're going to do. Ultimately, if you remember 2018, we had a 25% pullback during the trade war. I'm pretty sure we are just starting the trade war. And now Trump knows for 4 years he's going to do it now versus at the end of his election cycle, right? You might as well get the pain out now while he's got full endorsement. And whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. Just know that, again, this is going to have an effect on the market. In my opinion, you have to be careful. You have to be a trader's market. Know your levels. Be on top of things. Let me know I can help. So going to the rest of the week, again, I think we have a trend. It's down. It's just not going to be in a straight line. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. If you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, please hit me up. Love to help you out. You get 2 agents for the price of 1. Can help you anywhere in the country. And we can talk about all those things. Use the Calendly link. Let's chat. Also follow, like, subscribe if you would on the X. Posting tons of trades, ideas about real estate. Also, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, YouTube if you want to donate to the channel. Link is in the description below. If you want to hit the thanks button, again, a mutual appreciation. And again, check out the website, tradingagent.com. Lots of insights, ideas, thoughts on real estate, all the reviews, all the education. Again, turn profits into properties and passive income. That is the goal, my friends. Let me know how I can help. All right, we know the next meeting. This is what's going to get interesting. The trade war heats up. Bonds should get bought, in my opinion. And you're going to see the odds of rate cuts start to change. You should see them increase in the March meeting because, again, would you be surprised if the market pulls back hard? Shouldn't be. The Bitcoin. Oh, that's not correct. I apologize. Bitcoin got slammered today. Bounce back. Now, I'm not surprised. Again, it's like everything here. There's some volatility. But notice where Bitcoin held again. This is why we draw the fucking levels, guys. They matter. You could have traded that. That's a solid 10% move in a day. You're welcome. Oil. Not surprised. Open high, gap down, or open gap up, pulls back. Whether you believe what's going to happen with all these tariffs, it's really hard to know. But either way, again, if you have a slowing economy, demand destruction, you should see lower prices in oil. But here's the thing, right? You might see the tariffs pump up some prices. So this is where it's going to be tough. Again, personally, would not short any of this stuff. Just watching natural gas. We'd like to probably pullbacks again. I'd like to buy commodity does on pullbacks, not on rips. Dollar, look at this, hits the channel high, hits the 50-day, backing off. Keep an eye on this, right? Personally, again, this might be over. Think about it. If you take out the XDIV and just add this choppiness, we've been climbing up a nice channel. Keep an eye on it because, again, we might be due for some pull back. TLT, right? We've talked about the TLT. Needs to get over 88s. If you bought it today, we talked about it. You could buy the breakout, but set a stop at, say, like 87. That's how I look at it. Now, if you want to buy weakness, I get it as well. Just, again, I personally think that we have a ton of debt due in the next 2 years. They need to get interest rates down. And you can't just push them down artificially without creating inflation. So I really think they're going to try to get money to do what? Rotate into the market. Bonds. Jams bonds. Does that make sense? Any thoughts, questions, concerns? Leave a comment below if you're confused or have any thoughts. I'm always here to help. Yeah, you get it. So keep an eye. VIX. Here we go. We talked about opening high, closing low. We're seeing this pattern on these pops. So this is worth a watch. VIX. We talked about VIX. Typically bottoms first, making a higher low. Okay, watching the 200-day. Made sense. We talked about there was a due to drop. They're like, oh, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, downtrend. I'm like, again, look at the leaders, not necessarily the SPY. But if you would consider this a downtrend, you have a gap fill and a lower low. Now, you can't, this is where I'm like, people are like, oh, they want to define it with certainty. I would say we're in a trading range for the SPY. You agree? Trade high, channel low. It's QQQ. This is where it gets a little more wonky, in my opinion, right? You didn't get even close to the old highs. Made a lower high, filled the gap, lower high. Okay, keep an eye on it. Look, notice where we seem to have held, right? Keep an eye on this stuff. I think personally it's probably going to get burned more. Remember, tech has been leading down. Keep that in mind. IWM, keep an eye on this one, right? Talk about lagging. So the 50, 100-day, boom. Breaks out of this like chop zone. And now what? 100-day is resistance. Worth a watch if you want to trade it. DIA high, DIA low. Keep an eye on this, right? Here you go. Dropping. Gold. Breakout continues on. Again, don't worry about the dojis. Remember, it trades after hours, so you're going to have these gaps and these funky candles. So far, looking strong. But I am a little concerned about the volume at the highs. We just need to see continuation. Silver trying to follow, which is cool. Great. That's the idea, but not making new highs. A little suspect. You have a 3-day range. Is this 3 Mile Island or a 3-day range to break out? Keep an eye on that. GDX. We talked about these need a lead. Starting to try to. GDXJ needs to catch up. Again, trying. You have 3-day ranges in a bunch of these. It's, again, AEM. This is where I like AEM. It is the leader over old highs, but still doing this. You see the recurring pattern here? A lot of multi-day ranges, right? Man, that's not good. Making lower lows and lower highs on the 3-day range. Ugh. Newmont, right? We like Newmont long term, but just, if you bought it down in the 30s, you're feeling pretty good, but just roll up your stops. No guarantee. Pass, same thing, 3-day range. You see this reoccurring pattern, 3-day ranges? Taiwan Semi, oh man, who's going to get hurt with the trade wars? These guys are. Look at this, big gap, rallies back, gives it all up. I mean, it's just, again, this is what's so hard about trading. Like tops and bottoms can be super volatile. In my opinion, we talked about this. You can short all pops on semiconductors, in my opinion. Now, don't just short all small pops. Try to wait for extremes. Right? Oversold conditions lead to what? Overbought or temporarily overbought conditions. Again, depending on what time frame. Keep an eye on it. I personally think, again, all these names will get smoked out later. Doesn't mean, like the microns, the bigger the chop zone, when they fail the range lows, you can talk about see you later. Alligator, AM Dizzle. Again, whoever shorted, I remember someone was talking about short 122 looking pretty good. Keep an eye on this, right? Keep an eye on this. NVDA, short of the decade, short of the year, whatever you want to call it, making new lows, closing at primary trend, which again, not surprised today with the market rally. Keep an eye on it, right? SMCI, this doesn't look good, right? Making lower lows. Again, I don't know who owns this. If you do, you need to pony up to the confessional to just dump it. Just, I don't know. I'd leave it alone. Intel, we talked about this one, 18 to 20. I think you're betting on charity for this to get bought out, in my opinion. I don't think it will. And if it does, it's going to be 18, 19. They're not going to pay a premium. No one needs Intel. Nobody. Maybe that's where Trump's putting the strategic reserve together. I don't know. Buy Intel, flip it. Who knows? I mean, that's the only way I think the strategic reserve that he's talking about. Strategic National Wealth Fund would do. AVGO, we talked about this one. Looks like a chop top. SMH said the weakness was coming. This weakness is coming. Here you go. Just big and choppy. Keep an eye on it. Adobe. That's where it gets interesting, right? Got the 20-day. If this breaks, adios amigos. Applesauce. We talked about people chasing the rally. Oh, look at that earnings. Give it all up. Again, 200-day. She be coming around the mountain when she comes. Yeah, Amazon. Apple's coming down to 200 at some point. Amazon holding at the highs. Credit where credit's due. Meta can't really shake a stick at it, but it looks like, this trend line's in play here. Again, it's holding up pretty well, so don't go nuts, but you have references. CRM, right? Gapped up, gapped down, retest. All right. This one's a big chop zone. Again, I like the chop zones because I think they lead to resolving in downward, especially with certain tech names. Google seems to be holding up pretty well. Mr. Softy, man, is this taking out the bottom lows, the range lows? Keep an eye on it. Because again, I know some folks were looking at some of the puts on this. NDAQ playing some games up here. Nice little bounce back. I think this thing is toast in time. We've talked about it. MicroStrategy gets the rally back with Bitcoin. Look how sneaky that is, right? Sneaky mother fudger. Worth keeping an eye on, in my opinion. We like bull traps and bear traps at extremes. I mean, maybe it's due to bounce back. I mean, you're basically relying on Bitcoin. That's all. Netflix seems to be holding up pretty well. I mean, I know there's some calls out there. I mean, it looks like Jay Souls was talking about, but I mean, again, I wouldn't trust it until it gets over 1,000. Again, if you sold those out of the money calls, you're feeling pretty good. Roblox chopping around, holding up really well. Pan W seems to be that 190, 187 area as a struggle bus. Seem to have given up again. Tesla, we've talked about this. You got to be careful. It felt like it was going to give it up, but now you're back at the range lows. Now what near term? As we talked about, if you took profits on the way up, rolled up your stops, you're out, and now you're looking at levels to retest, and here you go. Watching levels to hold. What happens here? Keep an eye on it. Okie dokie. Questions? No. Insight. Here you go, right? Looking pretty solidly stuck, meaning like if we see some weakness, I think it's a buyout. I personally think if you have watched this stock for any point, you know that I think it's going to be bought out. And watch the channel. Hymns. We talked about trusting this rally, congratulating the bulls. Again, I mean, I'm looking to short because we know the short interest was 31%. Now, I'm not going to pick the top before the Super Bowl because I know they have this ad coming out that's going to be for weight loss drugs, which to me is incredibly sketchy because weight loss drugs, I mean, whatever. We can talk about that a whole nother time. But keep it on. Again, I like the idea of a short at some point. That's a nice rally for bulls. Credit, like I said, we expected. Said, watch what happens. If it gets out 33, I don't know why you wouldn't get to the range highs, channel highs. And there you go. Palantir, after hours, man, this thing is at $100. What a beast. Again, we talked about it chopping at the highs, but man, I would be watching for a blow-off. An absolute blow-off. Now, again, I wouldn't say jump out there and short it, but if you go nuts in the morning, you might be able to sell some out-of-the-money calls to collect some IV, and then it consolidates. Because, again, if you do the bigger math, I mean, this thing has gone from... This is one of the best stocks I've seen in a while that are monster caps or like larger companies. $6 up to $100. Pretty solid move. Not to say it can't go higher in long term, but I just think it leads to more consolidation after a nice pump. McDonald's, definitely got the bear stuck on that one. Chopping, holding the 200-day. DKNG, talked about this bounce up to short. I like the way it's looking now. I feel like it's coming down the mountain. Airbnb, we've talked about this one, right? Chopping around. Yeah, I mean, big chop zone. When that goes somewhere, it's going to go. Costco, as we've talked about. I mean, this is where being wrong and not sometimes trading things is perfectly fine. We talked about a bounce, so I'm not going to say I was wrong on that. I just didn't expect it to get back to the damn highs. Now that we're here, I mean, the next formation would be either a breakout and go, or it's a head and shoulders. So you could, here, I'll draw it for you. Like, think about like this is how this is going to go, right? You get down, you go up, you're cool. Or turns into what? The head and shoulders, and then you can go. So there's multiple ways to draw this, right? Just keep that in mind. That's what I'd be watching for. Starbucks, talked about this one being star sucks. I mean, they don't have any pricing power. Watch how we act up here. Federal Express. Ouch. Ouch. Talked about we thought this was a short. This one was hard, right? 2-day ranging. You had to train the ranges. Again, if you didn't short it, it's cool. Just watching it. Just things that you see and you go, market's not that strong. If FedEx is getting slapped around. Right, exactly. Caterpillar, look at this, man. This thing's trading like a tech stock. Okay, 200-day. Better hold. DE, like this thing has been on fire. Deer. Right? Keep an eye on it. I mean, if Deer's on fire, that means at some point ag names will be. I just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Leave a comment below. Remember, mind yourselves. Put that in the video for me. So it's ingrained there in the comments forever. Forever, ever, forever, ever. Forever didn't seem so long until it was gone. Yep, Nucor, we talked about this one. I mean, we like these names. Let them play out. X, Chop Chop, getting bought out at some point. I don't think it's going to be a foreign company. VALE, we talked about this one bottoming in the 8s. Congratulations. Now, again, doesn't necessarily mean it can't retest. I would love to see retests. Again, I'm waiting for some of them, and some of them won't. It's okay. And then you can jump into the leaders if needed. Arrow, again, choppy. We like little junior copper. CCJ, this one makes me real nervous for my uranium friends because it's like a complex head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, kapow, which take you back down to the 30s minimum. if it plays out. Again, if it plays out. CF, again, we like ag names long term. Let them play out. Let them pull back. Let them just do the damn thing. NTR, same kind of thing, right? Nothing wrong with these names. Personally, I just think I wouldn't touch them. I do believe in ag long term. It's just, I want to be early. I don't think so. Aaron, right? We like aluminum. Leave it alone. XLF, getting a little sneaky up here. Is that a pro gap? It's so green. I know it's confusing. Is that a pro gap? Keep an eye on this. The thing broke out to new highs. Gives it right back up 3 days later. Worth a watch. We talked about JP Morgan. I linked the short on this long term. Makes sense. Same kind of pattern. Morgan Stanley, Stanley Morgan, right? These all open pretty low. Rally back. Bank of America, right? Same kind of thing. But if you just took the color of the candle away, you'd still go, oh, it looks still down. Goldman Sachs, same thing. Carry, right? You're hoping this bounces bigger if you're a bull. Uh-oh. Again, let's take some time to notify the dogs here, because this could be a pro gap. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. XBI. We've talked about junior bios. Not looking so hot. Chop it around. Keep an eye on it. Jets. I mean, I personally don't think, we've talked about the 20-day break-in. There you go. Now the 50-day. Talked about this being a chop top. If you're shorted this, I think you're going to get paid in time. XHB, look at the housing index, right? Talked about issues. Oof. Dead cat bounce. Now, again, could it come back down to the lows and chop? Yeah. If it blasts right through it, then you got issues. And if we got issues in housing, we got issues everywhere else. Solar, we've talked about this being dead. Sedge, dead. ENPH, dead. First Solar, we like, but I think it's got to get cooked a little more. Cooking. HYG, again, you got to be out of your mind to be buying corporate debt. Don't do it, please. Please. Okay, keep an eye on it, right? All right, oil. Check this out, right? Range highs, probably back to range lows. Just keep it simple. UNG, I hate this product. Got a nice bounce. Again, I think we'll be natural gas exporters. KOLD, talked about if you took some profits down here. Okay, we'll see what happens. I doubt we can crash right through the lows. Natural gas is just going to rip, but we'll see. Because again, demand destruction. XOP, we talked about once it broke the multi-day range, could be a trap or it's done. I don't know why you wouldn't go back down to the mid-120s. We talked about CVE. Like, I want to see some of these junior gasoline or oil names not making new lows. That doesn't help the cause. Valero, we talked about the gasoline names getting real volatile, holding up 200-day. MPC has the 100-day, if I remember correct. Yep. Chopping around. ExxonMobil, this one you would think would be going, hey to the higher. It just seems to be chopping. BP, we talked about this one leading up, but then chopping. Man, look at today's volume. Put that on your blowout low bottom. I mean, that looks bullish to me. I mean, that's some serious volume. Someone knows something, right? Someone always knows something. Occidental. Again, we think Buffett is going to do fine on this. I just don't know where the bottom is. I've gone over I think the bottom was around here, but I'm not going to sit here and say I know anything for certain, because I think I've seen Buffett, again, he'll sell puts. He'll manage his positions. People won't. EQT, right? Chopping around. Seems to be holding up near the highs. And last but not least, Flex LNG, because I think we'll be natural gas exporters. So again, going into the rest of the week, right? We got jobs data. We've got more economic data that seems to be coming out weaker and weaker. We've got a little bit of earnings. But again, the big jobs data and this whole thing about tariffs. Now, this is where, again, I will refresh the warning. Tariffs, rumors, endless games. You're going to have to be careful, okay? Do me a huge favor, please, for the love of God. If you're long-term bullish, you probably need to take a siesta. Because again, if you watch what happens, like GDP probably does go negative at some point. The whole purpose of cutting spending is to get off the teat of spending. And so the government will have to readjust its spending outlook. The people who are collecting all this money is going to have to reevaluate what they're doing. There's going to be some pain. It's like it's like the pain to change has to exceed the pain to stay the same. And we've been in a certain way for a while now. People have bitched about inflation. Well, guess what? Everyone's like, oh, tariffs are going to push prices up. We'll see long term. I think near term you get that kind of effect, but No, then you start sourcing, you start manufacturing your own shit, and we say, okay, we're not going to rely on anyone else. Telling you, it's the short-term pain for the long-term gain. I don't want to get into politics, but I see each side arguing, especially the ones that don't know anything about economics. Like, this is just painful inflation. It's like, guys, we've had inflation for years. Where have you been? CPI has been sticky over what seems like 3% forever. So, again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. I love you guys. Have a great evening. Peace in the Middle East. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, your PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.